Today's word of the day is platitude. Now, this isn't actually a creative writing specific word. This is a real life word, but I do think that it's something that creative writers should be aware of. It's something that sometimes you can incorporate for all sorts of different reasons. So, platitudes are basically little sayings or little pieces of advice that aren't actually very meaningful because they're so overused. So, let's look at these examples. So, again, this is advice that's not all that meaningful. Have a nice day is one of the most common platitudes. That gets said so often, it kind of loses some of its meaning. The prefix is kind of interesting on this one, that in French, that the word plat it literally means flat, just like a plateau, right? Like on a flat mountain. So you can think about a plateau is also sort of like an automatic motto, and that the opposite of a platitude, sorry, platitude is that you wouldn't be sincere, that platitudes just don't feel like they're meaningful. So more examples: good things come to those who wait, forgive and forget, great minds think alike, money can't buy you happiness. All of those kind of lose meaning just because they're used too often. So, one thing that creative writers might want to be aware of when it comes to platitudes, like why am I teaching this to you, is be aware of using them too often because they are not creative, unless you're going to use them on purpose, right? Like, let's say you have a character who's maybe one of your background characters and you're trying to establish that they're just kind of a blah nobody. Maybe you're going to purposely pepper their dialogue with a bunch of platitudes, right? And that might be a way that you're making that character more believable. There's also like categories of platitudes, so just even the amount of platitudes there are just for people who have broken up. Like, there's plenty of fish in the sea and time heals all wounds, you're better off without them, you could do so much better. There's this as well. This is called the giant list of platitudes. So you can scroll through this yourself, but there's a lot of really interesting ones on this one. So it's for your own good, right? Or they've gone to a better place. All of these little pieces of advice, they're not very helpful, right? There's nothing that these would be life-changing, and they're not all that meaningful. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's another really common one. So the last thing I'll say, the other resource on this assignment is this video right here. It's not all about platitudes. I highly recommend watching this one. Do note that when we watch this in class, I mute it for really, really minor swear words, but the video is super worth it. It is just a good kind of general pep talk for life, but it also does include platitudes a couple of times. So just something to think about. Okay, there you go. Platitude.